This week on Project UX, we're opening up the Vault to take a look at startup My Dealer Service, a customer engagement platform for auto repair facilities. The Denver UXperts dive into the information architecture of the application and making sure that everything is arranged and colored and labeled correctly so that when someone goes to find information, they can easily bring it to the top. It's important for all applications to keep this in mind. I'm sure you've experienced times of frustration using things when you couldn't find what you need, and we want to make sure that startups don't befall that same hazard. So let's get right into it. Enjoy this episode.
So My Dealer Service is an interactive customer engagement platform for automotive service centers and repair facilities where we can close the loop in customer communication. If you've ever felt out of the loop getting your car repaired, we're bringing that back with digital communication and two-way text messaging along with a full interactive experience for the customer. So what we're looking at on the left side of the screen is the interactive dashboard, and this is what the service person sees on their end. It's a full snapshot of the service department. Now they can see all the open repair orders and all statuses where they're at and sorting all over the place by customer name and status and times. They can drill down and actually communicate directly with the customer. Now upon creating a new job, if you look on the right side of the screen, that's my iPhone and I'm playing the role of the customer on this. When a car is checked in, they receive an automated text message on their smartphone along with a link. The link opens up a dedicated mobile web page for that customer. So they have a dedicated web page to the repair of their vehicle. If I scroll through here, we have the branding information around the dealership and some quick buttons to call the dealership, get directions back there, and also a handy photo of our service contact. Back on the left side of the screen, the service advisor communicating with the customer has a fully documented history of the communication with the customer. So I'm going to go ahead and send a message back. And immediately, the service advisor is communicated with via the customer and they get these pop-up notifications. So if I'm working in any other screen on the application, I can simply click on the notification and it takes me right back to the job associated with this message. I can scroll down and see our full conversation right here, and I can continue the conversation with the customer. Additionally, I can send inspections to the customer, photos and videos of their repair, documents such as like a credit check or things like that, and we can also request a digital estimate approval. So let's say this is a brake job, and I need to request that it's okay for us to go forward. I'm going to send the customer $500 estimate approval. They instantly receive a text message where they can click on the link, wait for this to load up here, and now they know exactly how much the repair is going to cost. They can click on the approve button and actually sign for the approval right there on their smartphone. I'll just scribble in my signature. Let's go ahead and confirm it so we make sure their kid is not doing this for them. And there we go. Now on the advisor screen, they receive a notification as well, letting them know that the job has been approved and they can move forward with the repair.
Thank you. Let's have a round of applause for My Dealer Service. Experts, what are your recommendations?
Can you go back to the initial screen that the dealer sees?
Yes, sir. There we go.
And can you just talk me through this a little bit?
Basically, from left to right, we can track the repair order number, so right here, the customer name, we hover over, get the phone number, status of the vehicle, which actually can be quick changed on the fly, so we can, with a couple taps, send off a text message to the customer, when it was last updated, the vehicle information, who the actual advisor is assigned to the job, the contact preference, whether it be a phone call, email, or text message. We can even assign it to a technician and then drill down further into the job.
Great. Have you actually witnessed people, the actual users using this?
Yes.
And talk to me about that.
It's very, they find it very intuitive is from what I've seen. It's resembled of similar screens they already are used to in the automotive industry, so it's kind of been designed around that with a fresh new kind of look and feel, particularly the color scheme. A lot of the things they use are actually on white backgrounds with dark text, and we switched it to a dark background with lighter text, and they said it's actually been easier on the eyes because they stare at the computer all day long.
Can you describe how this integrates with a customer database that is not using the text messaging?
Okay, perfect. So for example, if a customer did not want to receive the text messages, for example, they just wanted a traditional phone call, the software can actually be used to track the process if they wanted to all the way through the repair by simply making the changes in the status and simply not texting the customer. If I actually change the customer contact preference to phone call, like right here, save it, now if I try to go in to message a customer, all customer messaging is actually disabled. So we don't bother the customer in any way, shape, or form. Additionally, a customer, if they're sent a text message by accident, they have the ability to opt out.
I'm hoping you're going to tell me this. Where's the alert to the service agent to say, hey, you haven't informed customer X?
That's an excellent question. That's actually built into the system. Right here on the main screen, we actually have, you'll see these colors right here. This is green, 24 hours to go. That's actually an estimated time to completion that the advisor can set for themselves, so they can actually set goals and meet those goals. When it gets down to 1 hour, it turns yellow, and then between 30 minutes and past due, it actually turns orange in this case. And then at that time, when it comes past due, you'll receive a notification as well.
Okay, now when you floated over or hovered over that, I noticed seems to be a disconnect with the orange text, and yet it still had this positive green as if everything is okay. I would recommend syncing that color relationship a little bit better to put some urgency to what I have to do.
Interesting, yes.
I'm guessing, I'm pretty confident that that red text in that black box would not pass any kind of Americans with Disabilities Act guidelines.
Perhaps it might not.
Yeah.
We haven't done much visibility testing on this
Yep.
yet, or
Yep.
accessibility.
Yep. So that might be a whole scheme that you really want to look at.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that you got customer feedback and they wanted all of this information, but it's all the same. Everything is the exact same size, spacing, feel, and certainly some piece of information has to stand out from the other at contextually relevant times. If you thought about how that interface could elevate that, or I would recommend finding the moment when I'm at this screen, what is it that I most need to do, and calling that out in a way that pulls it away from the muck and mire.
Absolutely. One of my goals has kind of been almost particularly, and maybe you can provide some feedback, is going kind of like to card style on each individual job, giving some separation between the linearness of this, because it is a very table layout.
So one thing that you can test is putting things in tabs. By putting it in tabs, that allows the user to go to the specific thing that they need to do, and then you can enlarge that information so it's much easier to read, sort of a detailed screen for that specific thing. So there could be the dashboard, and then that allows me to drill down. And of course, if there's an alert, it calls it out to go back to the other screen, or there's something on that screen that I'm currently on, click through and bring me to the alert information.
When you suggest him to use tabs, are you saying on each individual card, or how specifically are you thinking for him to implement that?
Yeah, I think you'd have to go back in the story a little bit further. So there is the idea of choosing by the customer that I need to communicate to and separating out that information in tabs. But then there's also the dashboard. So looking at this right now, I could see being able to click onto the customer and then bring forward different pieces of information that are separated by tabs. But it might just be that you need a detail screen. So by clicking onto a customer, that information, it could be separated out, not just in terms of the text, but to the specific information. I guess to clarify, what I'm seeing here is just a lot of overload. And every customer wants everything. And so you want to provide that. But it's how consumable is that information. And as I go through each screen, perhaps looking at it day to day, the same issues that they had with the white screen of staring at all of this information for the 50 customers that I'm dealing with through the day seems like a lot, where maybe all I need to know is let this person know that their car will be available in an hour. And if that's all I need to know, I don't want to visually go through this much clutter just to be alerted, click in there, what is it that I need to tell them, and tell them.
I want to go back to who is the user? So is there like a guy who sits there 8 hours a day and is on this thing contacting customers and updating them? Or is it literally any, I'll just use this, mechanic, right? I'm working on a car I finish, I come up, I contact them, I go back and do another job. How does that work?
In the use case of a dealership, and I'm talking about like a BMW dealer or Audi or Ford, they actually have advisors in place, which it's their job to be the salesman in the repair shop. Because you have your sales guys on the floor selling you new cars. The guys that you check in with and you talk, they call you, it's their job to be a sales associate to you. They're our primary user.
That's who's using this.
They're using this almost 8 hours a day.
Yep. Then I have to tell you, I buy the density that you have on the screen.
Okay.
I do question the color scheme a little bit here, right? I do question that. I really do think that looking at some of this, again, it's a trap that I see a lot, but you're using colors, and it can be kind of subtle here to indicate status of something. I don't know exactly what that is. Could that be done a different way? Color in and of itself, I question using that solely to identify status. Shape, right?
Shape
and color.
Well. We've tried with these bars here, we tried using like a pie graph or circle as well. The colors, unfortunately, was a request by our customers to make them customizable in color scheme, because I wanted just one color scheme to make it not so colorful.
To help with the visual density, have you tried just using icons for the different status? For the two things that stand out to me is the status and how much width it takes up and the information it communicates, and also the updated information in terms of how much time. Those seem to be two really key pieces of information that really drives how I communicate with the customer. All the other things are important, but it's kind of enter once and then move on. And so it seems like those are the two specific areas that need to be drawn out, simplified, and much clearer than it is now.
Experts, thank you for your feedback. Let's have a round of applause for My Dealer Service. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the episode and got some good information out of it. We'd love to know what you think, so drop us a comment below and subscribe to our channel, and even better, our newsletter to stay up to date on the latest from Project UX. We'll be back soon with more UX content coming your way. Until next time, peace.